वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। कैसे हैं सब लोग? Extremely sorry because I could not take the last class just because having the bad throat infection. So today I'm comparatively okay. So I hope the voice is clearly understandable to all the participant. एक बार कंफर्म करेंगे वॉइस इज ओके। आई रिक्वेस्ट पार्टिसिपेंट वॉइस इज ओके। समझ में आ रहा ना मेरी आवाज? Great. Good evening. So, Mr. Anand, you are not the student, is it? Mr. Anand Ubyakar. Thank you. So, let me start and ask a very simple question to all of you. The section 18 is talking about the credit in special circumstances. Why it is being so? What is the reason that section 18 says that credit in special circumstances? इसके अंदर ऐसे क्या स्पेशल है जो मैं इसको स्पेशल सर्कमस्टांस बोलता हूं, मैं नॉर्मल सर्कमस्टांस नहीं बोलता? कैन एनीबॉडी टेल मी? Thank you. So I'll definitely get well soon, and thank you so much for your well wishes. And important question, that why section 18 talks about that credit in special circumstances? Why not in the normal circumstances? This point I like to ask. Try to understand. You will find some interesting point before starting section 18. Okay, I am asking the same question or little bit or in the little bit different manner. If you are unregistered person, if the recipient is unregistered, whether he can take the ITC or not. Very simple question I'm asking to all of you. I am registered person. I'm making the supply to you. You are unregistered person. Would you be able to take ITC? Would you be able to take ITC? Very simple question I'm asking. That if the recipient, if you, suppose I am making the supply to you, I am a supplier, registered in the GST, you are unregistered, would you be able to take ITC? My question to all of you. All are correct. Answer would be no. Let me ask another question. If your outward supply is exempted or you are registered as a composition dealer, can you take the ITC? You are supplier, but your outward supply is exempted. I am making the supply to you. Would you be able to take ITC if your ultimate outward supply is exempted from the GST? Same answer. You might give the reference for this particular transaction. Section 17 subsection 2 is not permitting you to take the ITC. Absolutely correct. No ITC would be available. Generally, no. Absolutely correct. Now, here you will find some exception in the section 18. Certain circumstances. Try to understand this point. In the certain circumstances we will discuss in the section 18, at the time of the transaction, at the time of the transaction, you are unregistered person, or you are making the exempted supplies, or you are registered under composition. Because of some reason, which section 18 talks about, you can take the input tax credit, and that is the reason. I'll tell you two reasons. The first, that is the reason that why section 18 says that ITC in case of special circumstances. ITC in case of special circumstances, because in the normal circumstances, one should be registered person, outward supply should be taxable, or the person should not be registered under composition. If this is the case, section 16 does not permit me to take ITC. This part is clear. First, confirm this part is clear. We are going to repeat. We are going to discuss all the provision of section 18 once again. We had some discussion in the last class. We will start from the very beginning. Now, another question I'm asking. Arun is a registered person in the GST, making the supply to Mr. Sushil. Sushil is also registered person in the GST. Both are registered. Arun is making the supply to Mr. Sushil. Assume that this supply is for in the course or furtherance of the business. He is satisfying all the condition of section 16, not block in 17.5. It is allowable ITC. Then my question to all of you, how Mr. Sushil will claim the ITC? My question to all of you, how Mr. Sushil will take the ITC? Why I am teaching? So that you would be able to understand why section 18 is talking about ITC in case of special circumstances. बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, अरुण ने सुशील को माल सप्लाई किया या सर्विस दी, दोनों रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है, आईटीसी एलिजिबल है, तो मेरा पूछना आपसे ये है वो आईटीसी क्लेम कैसे करेंगे? हाउ दिस आईटीसी वुड बी टेकन बाय मिस्टर सुशील? ये सुशील आईटीसी कैसे लेंगे? The answer would be absolutely correct, Miss Jyoti Jha, absolutely correct. ITC would be taken in the GSTR 3B. ITC would be taken in the GSTR 3B. बहुत बढ़िया, कोजेमा जी, absolutely correct. So Sushil, I was saying that Arun has made the supply to Mr. Sushil. Both parties are registered. How Mr. Sushil will take the input tax credit? Every condition of 16(2)(1), everything is satisfied. How? What would be the mode to claim the ITC? The mode would be GSTR 3B. Fine. Now I am making the comparison between 16 and section 18. It is called as a special circumstances. In the normal circumstances, ITC would be claimed through GSTR 3B. But because section 18 talks about special circumstances, it will be taken, ITC would be taken on the basis of certain forms, either ITC 01 or ITC 02 or ITC 02 capital A. Second reason why I am saying that section 18 having the word ITC in case of special circumstances. In the normal circumstances, I will take the ITC by the GSTR 3B. But in case of special circumstances, the ITC would be routed, ITC would be availed, ITC would be taken on the basis of ITC forms, not through GSTR 3B. Once again, I forgot always. Sure, Abdul. So kindly confirm, do you, is it, this point is also clear? This point is also clear. Please confirm this point is also clear. Is not from academic point of view, study point of view, but this point which I have explained, it's for your knowledge purpose, so that you would be able to understand why it is being written as a special circumstances. I need your confirmation so that I can proceed to the respective clause of section 18. ये आपको ऐसा नहीं किताब में एग्जैक्टली लिखा हुआ नहीं रहेगा, बट आई थॉट कि आप लोगों को मालूम होना चाहिए स्पेशल वर्ड क्यों है. तो जब 18 सबसेक्शन 1 2 3 4 का हम डिस्कशन करेंगे ना, यू विल हैव द एम्पल क्लैरिटी बिफोर रीडिंग द प्रोविजन. ठीक है. अब मैं Priyanka, I was saying that in the normal circumstances, we are making the supply to registered party and registered party claiming the ITC through GSTR 3B. But in section 18, at the time of supply, the recipient is unregistered, first difference. Second, he will claim the ITC through ITC forms, either ITC 1, ITC 2 or ITC 2A. That we will read now, Miss Jyoti, that we will read once we will complete section 18, would be able to understand what are those special circumstances. Priyanka, I hope it is clear. Moving to the section 18. Section 18 subsection 1 has 4 clauses. Clause A, clause B, clause C, clause D. Clause A is talking about mandatory registration. Clause B is talking about voluntary registration. So voluntary registration का section है 25 subsection 3. At the time of the transaction, I was not registered person. At the time of the transaction, I was not registered person. So the transaction will not appear in my GSTR 2B. Therefore, I won't be able to take ITC in the normal circumstances. But 18 subsection 1 clause says that if you were liable to take mandatory registration, either by virtue of section 22 or 24, which we will discuss in the registration chapter, try to develop the understanding only. If now I am a recipient, you are making the supply to me, let's say on 1st November. On the 1st November, I was not registered person. In that case, you will say, Arun will not be able to take input tax credit. Absolutely correct. But suppose I am liable to take registration, mandatory, or not or I will take separately. First, I am teaching the clause A. Arun is liable to take registration, let's say on 1st November. And if he applied for registration within 30 days, in that case, Arun would be able to take ITC of what? ITC of what? Stock, whether it is raw material or it is WIP or it is finished goods. Give me 2-3 minutes. I will explain clause A and the clause B, then you can ask the question. अगर अरुण लाइबल टू टेक रजिस्ट्रेशन है और विद इन 30 डेज अगर उसने रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए एप्लीकेशन फाइल कर दी, लेट्स से अरुण हैज मेड द एप्लीकेशन ऑन 25th November and certificate has been granted, certificate of registration has been allotted by the government on 5th of December. I'm hypothetically taking these data. On 1st November, Arun was liable to take registration. So here I am using the word date of liability. Why I am liable to take registration? We will discuss section 22. We will discuss section 24 in the registration chapter. Because of any provision of the 22 or 24, Arun was liable to take registration. Let's say my turnover crossed the threshold limit on 1st November. I am liable to take? Yes. And what is the time limit to make the application? 30 days. Let's say I have applied on 25th November. Whether I am within the time? Whether I have applied within the time? Absolutely correct. And let's say certificate has been granted on 5th December. Then Arun would be entitled to take the ITC of stock which is held in input or semi-finished or finished. Okay. Of which date? Stock of which date? Might be you will say the date of the liability. Might be you will say date of application. Might be you will say date of registration. Of which date I would be liable? I would be eligible to take input tax credit. Kindly underline this word, that on the day immediately preceding the date from which he become liable to pay the taxes. It means the 31st October, whatever the stock is available, Arun would be able to take the ITC of the stock lying in input, semi-finished or finished goods. Of which date? Date of liability to pay the taxes. Is it clear? Kindly confirm clause A is clear. See, might be I have purchased the goods on 15th October. I have purchased the goods on 25th October. Doesn't matter. But if the particular goods are lying in the stock on 31st October, the day immediately preceding the date of the liability. How to derive the date of the liability? Because my turnover crossed the threshold limit. Because I was covered in any of the provision of the registration. Please remember that we are always talking about the ITC on input, ITC on input service, and ITC on capital goods. I hope it is clear that we would be able to take the ITC of input. We won't be able to take ITC of input service. We won't be able to take ITC of capital goods in the clause A. Sir, Abhishek, on the day immediately preceding the date. So it means If I'm liable to pay the taxes on 1st November, date of liability to pay the taxes immediately preceding would be 31st October. Is it clear? This is clause A, and clause A for mandatory registration. You may write somewhere mandatory registration. You are requested to write somewhere mandatory registration. Now we are talking about section 25 subsection 3, which is talking about voluntary registration. See, it means voluntarily means स्वेच्छा से, अपनी इच्छा से. I was not liable to take mandatory registration either in section 22 or section 24. But still I like to take registration. No problem. That GST Act does not stop you to voluntarily go for GST registration. So my turnover is not cross threshold limit. Can I go for registration? Yes. Let's say I have applied the registration on, let's say, 15th of November, and certificate has been granted on, let's say, 25th November. Now read the provision. I would be also entitled to take ITC again of input only. Either it is available in stock, or it is available in semi-finished goods, or it is available in finished goods. Of which day? On the day immediately preceding the date of 15th November or 25th November. It is saying the date of the grant of registration. This was date of application and this was date of registration. So meaning thereby, on the day immediately preceding the date of the grant of certificate, it means whatever the stock were lying on the 24th November, you will be able to take ITC. अब्दुल, अभी मैं आपके क्वेश्चन का आंसर करता हूं, बट पहले क्लॉज ए और क्लॉज बी क्लियर है ना? But just allow me some time so that I can discuss your question after completion of 1 and 18.2. Date of liability to pay taxes. अभी ठीक होगा. I hope it is okay. Date of application for 29th July. Date of registration 6th August. So I hope it is okay. Now I have completed the question in front of you. You have to give me the answer. If I would be covered by 18(1)(a), then please give me the date. Please give me the date whatever the stock lying on that day would be to take ITC. Similarly, if covered by 18(1)(b), then if I covered by 18(1)(b), then you tell me of which date I would be able to take the ITC of the stock lying in hand. In the 18(1)(a), please tell me a stock lying in the hand of which date would be eligible for ITC. Similarly, for 18(1)(b), stock lying in the hand of which date would be available to take ITC. ज्योति मैं एक बार रिपीट कर देता हूं बेटा। मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा 18(1)(a) एंड 18(1)(b). एक कॉमन क्वेश्चन बनाया है कि सपोज मैं लाइबल टू पे ऑन 10th of July हूं, डेट ऑफ एप्लीकेशन फॉर जीएसटी 29th जुलाई है, इस केस में क्या होगा, ये नॉट एप्लीकेबल होगा। 18(1)(b) में क्या होगा, ये सेम है और ये सेम है। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे है कि अगर मैं 18(1)(a) में कवर होता हूं, देन प्लीज टेल मी द स्टॉक लाइंग ऑन विच डेट वुड बी अवेलेबल फॉर ITC. I need the reply from every participant so that it is a reconfirmation to me the provision of 18(1)(a) and B is clear to all. ज्योति, आई होप इट इज क्लियर। आवाज अभी ठीक है ना? नेट का थोड़ा इश्यूज रहता ही है कंटिन्यूअसली, अगर मैं क्लास लेता हूं तो कई बार थोड़ा रहता है। एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी फॉर दैट। The answer for the question 1 or 2, please note one thing, whatever the date is, the word is immediately preceding the date of liability to pay the taxes in the 18 subsection 1 clause A. So the answer for this would be 9th of July. And 18(1)(b), again it is written immediately preceding the date of the grant of the registration. It would be 5th August. Please note the word immediately preceding. In 18(1)(a), what is written? Immediately preceding the date of liable to pay the taxes. Correct. So the answer would be 9th July. In the 18(1)(b), the answer would be 5th of August. Is it clear? Kindly confirm. If it is not clear, kindly ask the counter question. From my side, 18(1)(a) and B both are completed. Please ask the question. Or if it is clear, kindly give the confirmation that it is clear. Is it clear? Kindly give the confirmation. Great. 18(1), entire 18(1) is not understood. 18(1)(a) talk about that if you are liable to take mandatory registration, then whatever the stock lying on which date, on the day immediately preceding the date of liable to pay the taxes. In my example, it was 10th July. So I was saying that on the 9th, whatever the stock is there, you are entitled to take ITC. Sir, Is it clear or not? Let me explain in short once again. 18 when we talk about if I am liable to take registration, then and made the application within 30 days. In that case, I would be liable to take I would be entitled to take ITC immediately preceding the date of the liability. And second, why voluntarily? Because if you read the section 25 subsection 3, it talk about voluntary registration. Alok, abhi gradually we will move ahead for 18.1a and 18.1b. ITC would be available only on the input, not on input service, not on capital goods. But in the clause C and the clause D, we would be able to take ITC of input as well as capital goods. If we have not applied within 30 days, the law is silent. Abdul, I am giving the reply to you. If I have applied registration after 30 days, law is silent. In my view, the date of the grant of registration, you would be able to take ITC. Like in the clause B, the date of the grant of the certificate, whatever the stock lying preceding that day, I would be entitled to take ITC. This, in my humble opinion, in my humble view, the same would be applicable if I have applied after 30 days. Mohammed Vora, yes, your question is visible. Let me see. Sir, GSTR 3B में हम तो उस इनवॉइस के आईटीसी नेक्स्ट मंथ में लेते हैं ना? नहीं, ये GSTR 3B के थ्रू रूट नहीं हो सकता. क्यों? क्योंकि क्या ये ट्रांजेक्शन 2B में आएगा? मोहम्मद, क्या ये ट्रांजेक्शन 2B में आएगा? आंसर इज नो. क्योंकि जब मैंने ट्रांजेक्शन किया था तब तो मैं रजिस्टर्ड ही नहीं था. तो सप्लायर ने GSTR 1 में दिखाया होगा, तो मेरा तो GST नंबर उसके पास नहीं होगा. हाउ इट कम इन द 2B? अगर 2B में नहीं आता तो मैं क्या आईटीसी ले सकता हूं? आंसर इज नो. These would be routed through ITC 01. This ITC would be routed through ITC forms ITC 01. Kanaya Singh, I have given the answer. I hope it is clear. After 30 days, in my view, date of the grant of the certificate, similar to the clause B. Yes, I'm Miss GR. I'm getting your reply also. ठीक है. Right, Mohammed. Understood, na? Fine. Let me move to the 18.1C and D. Now try to understand 18.1C and D. I'm talking about that if I am registered under composition levy, switch over here, switching from composition to regular, or my supply which was exempted now become taxable. My supply which was exempted now become taxable. 18.1C, you can write that switch over from the composition to regular. 18.1D, exempt supply become taxable. Valid for the parties who is liable for registration. Yeah, right. So there are two provisions, section 22 or section 24. Either because of any provision, I would liable, I am getting covered by 18.1A. Absolutely correct. If he has applied in April, then can he take the ITC of April? I'm not talking about ITC of April. I'm talking about on which provision is getting covered. 18.1A or B. According to that, you have to decide the date, whatever the stock, and the form would be ITC 01. Is that correct? Absolutely, Anand. Absolutely correct. Immediately preceding that date. Abdul, again same. See, date of the grant of the certificate or date of the liability, in both the cases, I will see the stock line immediately preceding that date. That is clear. Because the day when the registration would be granted, obviously, I would be able to make the sale by putting the GST number. So whatever the stock lying on the immediately preceding that date, Why it is being covered in the special? Because we know if one is registered under composition, cannot take the ITC. If outward supplies is exempted, cannot take the ITC. Very true. But suppose he is switching from section 10 to section 9, regular registration. So he ceased to pay the tax under section 10. Ceased to pay means now he is not liable to pay under section 10 because of the turnover, because of any reason. You will read the provision that composition dealer cannot make certain restriction are there because of any reason, because of any provision. Now he's ceased to pay that tax under section 10. Can I give the example? First example, let's say the turnover cross 1.5 CR. Let's say he is making the supply interstate, which is not allowed. In that case, he will be ceased to pay the tax under section 10 and is liable for section 9. What is the section 9? Regular registration. Correct. Now, in the regular registration, try to understand why these provisions are there. Because in the section 10, he will pay the tax nominal percentage, so he won't be able to take ITC. But if he convert into the section 9, he will pay the actual tax levied on the particular transaction. In that case, this provision has been giving the right to take ITC of stock lying in input or semi-finished or finished goods and capital goods. Underline this word. In the 18.1C and in the 18.1D, in the 18.1C and in the 18.1D, we are also allowing to take the ITC on the capital goods. But there is some calculation in the capital goods, which we will discuss in some time. But add one point that ITC on the input, semi-finished or finished goods and capital goods. When 18.1C would apply, if section 10 composition dealer ceased to pay the tax under section 10, it means now he is paying the tax under section 9. Or my outward supply is exempted, now it becomes taxable. Fine. So which date I would be able to take ITC? Again, the same language preceding the date from which he become liable to pay the tax under section 9. Here, again, immediately preceding the date from which the supply becomes taxable. Now, one proviso was there which talks about in case of the capital goods, whatever the credit is available on the capital goods shall be reduced by such percentage point as may be prescribed. What is being prescribed? 5% per quarter. 5% per quarter. See, if the GST on the capital goods is capitalized, no ITC would be available. That we know because of 16 subsection 3. So you have to reduce your capital value. That is okay. I'm ready to reduce, but will you give the ITC? Answer is yes. If you covered by 18.1C or 18.1D, he will give the ITC on the capital goods, but reduced by such percentage point as may be prescribed. We'll read the example also. Now, 18.2 is applicable on all the 4 clauses: clause A, clause B, clause C, clause D. 5% per quarter. Yes. What mean by per quarter? Say for example, we'll discuss the example. Just allow me some time. 18.2 is saying a person shall not be entitled to take ITC under subsection 1, clause A, B, C, D, both, all four clauses, in respect of any supply after the expiry of 1 year. After the expiry of 1 year from the date of issue of tax invoice relating to such supply. It means if you have the stock, but that stock is being purchased prior to 1 year, you won't be able to take ITC. Whatever the example which we have discussed, like in this example, suppose this, you have the stock of, let's say, 10 lakh rupees, out of which a stock worth of rupees 2 lakh has been purchased 2 years back. Even though that stock is lying in your hand on 9th of July, but you won't be able to take input tax credit. Why? Because 18 to say maximum invoice should not be older than 1 year. Let's read the once again 18 to a registered person shall not be entitled to take the ITC under subsection 1 in respect of any supply after the expiry of 1 year from the date of issue of the tax invoice relating to that supply. Please ask me the question from my side. 18 subsection 1 and subsection 2 is completed. Kindly you ask me the question, whatever you have the doubt for 18.1 and 18.2. Then we'll go to the 18.3. So let me explain what is the meaning of one question was there. So again, on that day, on 9th of July, I was able to take the ITC of the stock in my example, taking the same example. Okay. So if there are any capital goods lying in my stock, I would be able to take ITC, but ITC would be reduced 5% per quarter. Let's say it is being purchased in the 1st January. Okay. So Jan, Feb, March, 1st quarter, April, May, June, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, July, August, September, any quarter or part thereof. It means whatever the GST is being paid on this capital goods, let's say convert into the value. The value of the capital goods is 10 lakh rupees and GST is 5%, 50,000. I have purchased this capital goods on 1st Jan. And on 9th of July, either I have switched from the composition to regular or my outward supply become taxable. Okay. I would be able to take the ITC immediately preceding the date of section, taking the registration in section 9 or supply become taxable. So let's say on 10th of July, I have converted myself into the section 9 or my supply become taxable. So 9th of July, there is capital goods. Can I take the ITC? According to clause C or D, I would be able to take ITC. Whether entire 50,000 would be available? Answer is no. Why no? Because I have to reduce by 5% per quarter. How many quarter I have used? 2 full quarter and 1 part thereof. It will be deemed that you have used 3 quarter and therefore I have to reduce 15%. So balance I will be able to take ITC. This ITC would be routed through ITC 01, not through GSTR 3B. There is no notes. Sai Kumar, Mr. Sai Kumar, I am using the study material of the institute. I am not using any notes. So you have to refer these only. You have to refer the study material. I am not using my notes. So whenever, Abdul, whenever the transaction become taxable, it has to be routed through government notification. It cannot be taxable like by any other mode. There is notification for the goods 1 by 2017 and for services 11 by 2017. So by these notification, they have to make the taxable. Priyanka, the 5% is per quarter. Just wait for some time. We'll read the rule 40 and also the rule 44. There is some controversy between these two rules. But for 18.1, there is a rule 40, which is clear cut saying 5% is per quarter. मतलब हर्षित मतलब सब टू में रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन एलिजिबल नहीं. Why in subsection 2 registered person will come? Thank you so much, PRS Arpita, because you already have lot of notes. How to manage the same? That is the reason I'm using the study material more than sufficient according to my perception. If you are thorough about the study material, nothing to refer. This is my perception. I am find very useful. So I have not prepared any other material for giving to you. Only certain couple of questions I'm making the same, which is uploaded. Piyush, I become liable to take ITC on 1st Jan. Last stock I have purchased in 15th December of 1 lakh. And on 31st December, I had a stock of 50,000. You can take the ITC of 50,000 only, na? Whatever the stock lying in the hand on 31st December, whatever the stock lying in your hand in 31st December, that you can take the ITC. So because you have the stock of only 50,000, so to that extent, you can take the ITC. I hope it is clear. 18.1 and 18.2. कैपिटल गुड्स वाला पार्ट भी क्लियर हो गया, राइट? सर मेरा कहना है कि सबसेक्शन 2 एक बार हिंदी में. हाँ जरूर हर्षित. 18.2 क्या कहता है? देखो 18.2 किसके ऊपर एप्लीकेबल है? 18.1 के ऊपर एप्लीकेबल है. 18.1 क्लॉज ए, अगर आप मैंडेटरी रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए लाइबल होते हैं. क्लॉज बी, अगर आप वॉलंटरली लेते हैं. क्लॉज सी, अगर आप कंपोजिशन से रेगुलर में आते हैं. क्लॉज डी, अगर आपकी सप्लाई एग्जिम से टैक्सेबल हो जाती है. इन 4 क्लॉज में आपको आईटीसी एलिजिबल होता है. कई बार इनपुट का होता है, कई बार कैपिटल गुड्स का होता है. तो उसके लिए आप आईटीसी किसके माध्यम से लोगे? व्हाट वुड बी द मोड? आईटीसी 01. तो आप जब आईटीसी लोगे, आपके पास में इनवॉइस होना चाहिए. यू शुड हैव द टैक्स इनवॉइस. वो टैक्स इनवॉइस 18.2 कहता है, वो टैक्स इनवॉइस शुड नॉट बी ओल्डर देन 1 ईयर. कन्हैया अभी वेट करो, 18.4 में आपका वाला केस कवर हो जाएगा. जो आप कह रहे हो ना, वो 18.4 में कवर है. मिस्टर कन्हैया सिंह, योर केस इज कवर्ड इन 18.4. जस्ट वेट फॉर सम टाइम. अगर गुड्स इन ट्रांजिट है, तो आपके पास जब गुड्स मिलेगा, whether you will be registered at that time, then it will be covered in the regular case. It will not be in the special case. I become liable on 28 Feb. So can I take ITC के लिए टाइम लिमिट होता है. See, you can fill the form through ITC 01. You can fill the form ITC 01 within the time limit prescribed. तो उस टाइम लिमिट में आपको ITC लेना है. So that form you can fill on 29th or any other date, whatever the time limit is being prescribed. Miss GR, the date of the liability means the date on which the person crossed the threshold limit or any other provision. So cross the threshold limit, you are talking about section 22. In the section 24, there are 11 circumstances one has to take mandatory registration. I am saying because of any provision of the GST registration 22 or 24, if I am liable to take registration, then date of the liability to pay the tax. Absolutely correct. Sir, when exempt will become taxable? When exempt will become taxable means it can be the decision of the court, like in a couple of days back. So some item which were exempted now become taxable. So it is as per the GST Council decision. It can be on any date. There is no fixed date. Now the supply become taxable, then I would be able to take ITC of input and capital goods. Now let's move to the 18.3 because we have to complete the chapter as well. Correct. Where there is a change in the constitution. Now it says 18 subsection 3 says that on account of the sale, merger, demerger, amalgamation, lease or transfer of the business with a specific provision for transfer of the liability, the said registered person shall be allowed to transfer the ITC which remain unutilized in his electronic credit ledger to such sold, merged, demerged, amalgamated, leased or transferred business in such manner as may be prescribed. Sure, beta. I will call as Harini. No problem. So 18.3 is only saying, let's say company A has merged with company B, amalgamated, demerged, lease or transfer because of any reason. Whatever the ITC is lying in the company A, it can transfer the same to company B. Unutilized ITC can be transferred to such sold, merged, demerged, amalgamated. So company A, let's say company A has been merged with the company B. So whatever the ITC is there in the company A, it can be transferred to the company B. Where any registered person who has availed for once you become liable for registration 28 Feb, definitely you can claim the ITC of whatever the goods purchased on 29 Feb. Sure. And Nafiza, how can we take the ITC on the capital goods if they are not for further outward supplies? So where we have used the word it is not for further outward supplies, see the basic things of 16 subsection 1, it should remain applicable for entire ITC, entire inward supply. It should be in the course or furtherance of the business. If you go and read the definition of input service and capital goods, please read the definition of capital goods. You will find the word in the course or furtherance of the business. If the particular capital goods is not for the furtherance of the business, then particular item will not be called as a capital goods. You won't be able to take ITC. This is the bare minimum condition that any goods or services which is being used for the course or furtherance of the business, then only the ITC would be available. ठीक है, तो तीसरा पॉइंट क्या बोलता है कि अगर मैंने अमालगमेशन, मर्जर, डीमर्जर के थ्रू अपने बिजनेस को ट्रांसफर किया है, तो जो नई एंटिटी है मैं अपनी आईटीसी को भी ट्रांसफर कर सकता हूं। जितनी भी मेरे पास अनयूटिलाइज आईटीसी है मैं उसको ट्रांसफर कर सकता हूं। अब 18.4 क्या है? रिवर्स सिचुएशन है। अभी हमने जो क्लॉज सी और क्लॉज डी में जो पढ़ा था, क्लॉज सी और क्लॉज डी में जो पढ़ा था, क्या पढ़ा था क्लॉज सी क्लॉज डी में? कैन एनीबडी टेल मी व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस इन द क्लॉज सी एंड द क्लॉज डी? कोई मुझे बता सकता है 18(1)(c) में हमने क्या पढ़ा था और 18(1)(d) में हमने क्या पढ़ा था? एक बार मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, काइंडली एक्सप्लेन। आई वेट फॉर 2 मिनट। जितना आप एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं आप अपनी लैंग्वेज में शॉर्ट में एक्सप्लेन करना। व्हाट वी हैव रीड इन द 18(1)(c) एंड 18(1)(d? प्लीज टेल। एंड इसका जस्ट रिवर्स सिचुएशन है 18(4). मैं वेट कर रहा हूं, 1 मिनट के लिए वीडियो ऑफ कर रहा हूं। जस्ट गिव मी द रिप्लाई व्हाट वी हैव रीड इन द 18(1)(c) एंड 18(1)(d? Very nice. So 18(1)(c), we have talked about composition to regular, section 10 to section 9. 18(1)(d), exempt supply become taxable supplies. Now, what they are giving, 18(1)(c) and D are giving the entitlement to take input tax credit. Now, suppose if you reverse the situation, then what is the simple answer from your side? Will I be eligible to take ITC or I have to reverse some ITC? You tell if I am converting section 9 to section 10, or if my outward supply, which was taxable, now become exempted. What you will say? Should I reverse the ITC or should I avail the ITC? You all can say, without reading the provision, you all can give me the correct answer. Sorry. Simply reverse or I should pay. Matlab, the both things are clear. Correct. Almost same. Because I have to reverse or it will be considered as a payment. Where any registered person who has availed the ITC now opt to pay the tax under section 10. Now it means he is currently under section 9, now switching to section 10. Or where the goods or services or both by him become fully exempted, he has to pay. Earlier in 18(1)(c) and D, we have seen that entitled to take ITC. Now I have to reverse or I have to pay. By way of, see, पेमेंट कैन बी बाय क्रेडिट और बाय कैश. Credit ledger, sorry, I'm using the exact word electronic credit ledger. So if I am taking the ITC, the where the amount is being added, the amount is being added in the electronic credit ledger. So they are saying he has to pay an amount. The payment can be by way of debit to the electronic credit ledger or by way of electronic cash ledger, equivalent to the credit of input tax in respect of input held in stock, semi-finished or finished goods, and on capital goods. On the capital goods, same thing, reduced by such percentage point as may be prescribed. And of which date? Immediately preceding the date of exercising this option, means from section 9 to section 10, or date of such exemption. Thank you, Jyoti. But now I am comfortable. I hope you are able to understand. आपको समझ में तो आ रहा है ना प्रॉपर? आई डू अग्री दैट थोड़ा सा थ्रॉट इन्फेक्शन बचा हुआ है अभी, बट आपको ऐसा तो नहीं कि कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो रहा है पढ़ाई में? प्लीज कंफर्म देयर इज नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज इन रीडिंग और इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग योर दिस पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट. एक बार कंफर्म करना मुझे. Section 9 to 10, it says ITC available. Sir, where it is ITC available? It says you have to pay. You have to pay. It means I have to make the payment. The payment would be of how much amount? Payment would be how much amount? The payment would be equivalent to the credit of input, semi-finished goods, finished goods, or capital goods. So now on the particular date, say on 22 November, I am converting myself from regular to the composition. ठीक है, मैं आपको हिंदी में भी बता दूंगा. एक बार पहले हम अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेते हैं बोथ लैंग्वेज में, नो प्रॉब्लम. बट एक बार ट्राई कीजिए, आप मैक्सिमम समझ पाए, तो जब मैं हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा इट विल बी द रिवीजन फॉर यू. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इन इंग्लिश, और जब मैं हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा इट विल बी रिवीजन फॉर यू. सो डबल एडवांटेज, डबल एडवांटेज. करेक्ट ना? तो क्या हुआ, मैं क्या रहा हूं यहाँ पे सुनिएगा. यहाँ पे आईटीसी लेने की बात कर रहे हैं सुशील, यहाँ पे आईटीसी लेने की बात कर रहे हैं, नहीं, आईटीसी के इक्विवेलेंट अमाउंट को पे करने की बात कर रहा है. इट मींस आई हैव टू पे. पर पे कितना, उस क्वांटम को ये स्पेसिफाई कर रहा है कि इक्विवेलेंट टू द क्रेडिट ऑफ इनपुट टैक्स इन रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ इनपुट हेल्ड इन स्टॉक, इनपुट कंटेन्ड इन सेमी फिनिश और फिनिश गुड्स एंड कैपिटल गुड्स. और कैपिटल गुड्स में हमेशा एक फंडा अप्लाई होता है कि जितना मैंने यूज कर लिया उतना रिवर्स नहीं करना, बैलेंस पार्ट का रिवर्स करना. और ये जो स्टॉक है, ये जो कैपिटल गुड्स है, किस दिन आपके पास में अवेलेबल है? इमीडिएटली प्रेसिडिंग द डेट ऑफ कन्वर्जन और एग्जेम्पशन. Why the supply reverse the ITC? The question is being asked by Vora, why the supply will reverse the ITC? Now he is going to such situation where the law does not provide the input tax credit. Composition dealer can take the ITC? Answer is no. If your outward supply is exempted, can you take the ITC? Answer is no. So now from, let's say, 22 November, I am going to composition where the ITC would not be available. Whatever the stock lying in my hand, I would sell under composition. I would sell without paying any taxes. That is the reason he has to pay the amount. 18 for one example. अभी आप लोगों को मालूम होगा, अभी couple of days back, couple of month back, आप लोगों को मालूम होगा, सुना भी होगा आपने कि अगर कोई लाइक मान लो आटा, दाल, चावल, चीनी जो कि बेसिक यूज की है, पहले ब्रांडेड के ऊपर टैक्सेबल था, अनब्रांडेड के ऊपर टैक्सेबल नहीं था. अब उन्होंने क्या कर दिया, कुछ टैक्सेबिलिटी इंक्रीज कर दी. उन्होंने टैक्सेबिलिटी इंक्रीज नहीं की, स्कोप इंक्रीज कर दिया. अब अगर रिटेल में मैं कोई आइटम बेचता हूं, लेट्स से मेरे पास में मैं सेल करता हूं आटा, ठीक है, आटा को क्या करता हूं मैं पैक करके बेचता हूं, पहले ये एग्जेम्प्ट था बट अब ये टैक्सेबल हो गया, पहले ये एग्जेम्प्ट था अब ये टैक्सेबल हो गया, तो अभी अगर टैक्सेबल हो गया तो मैं आईटीसी ले लूंगा। लेट्स रिवर्स द सिचुएशन, पहले ये टैक्सेबल था अभी एग्जेम्प्ट हो गया, तो क्या करूंगा, मेरे पास में जो भी आईटीसी है मैं उसे वापस गवर्नमेंट को दे दूंगा, क्यों, क्योंकि अब जो भी मैं सेल करूंगा उसके ऊपर गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स नहीं दूंगा। आपको वो डेट मतलब नहीं है, आपको वो मतलब मालूम नहीं कब ये टैक्सेबल हुआ, कब रेट में चेंज हुआ, या आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है, इसलिए मैंने यूज किया कपल ऑफ डेज बैक, मतलब कुछ दिन पहले, कुछ महीने पहले ये प्रोविजन चेंज हुआ। हर मल्टीपल टाइम्स चेंज होता है जीएसटी, करेक्ट। सो लेट्स से कोई ट्रांजेक्शन जो पहले टैक्सेबल था अब वो एग्जेम्प्ट बन गया, तो जब टैक्सेबल था तो मैंने आईटीसी लिया था, तो आज वो आईटीसी पड़ा है लेकिन अब मैं टैक्स नहीं पे करूंगा गवर्नमेंट को, क्या आईटीसी मुझे अपने पास ही रहने देना है या मुझे गवर्नमेंट को वापस देना है? 18.1 18.4 से यू हैव टू पे द सेम टू द गवर्नमेंट। वेदांत, अगर आई मैं सेल कर रहा हूं तो मैंने भी तो कुछ परचेस किया होगा ना, I have purchased something. I have also purchased the pulses. Let's say today it was taxable earlier, now it has become exempted. जब मैंने पल्सेस परचेस किया था तो टैक्स पे किया होगा, मैंने पैकिंग मटेरियल परचेस किया उस पल्सेस को पैक करने के लिए, मेरे पास एक मशीन है जिसके थ्रू मैं पैक करता हूं, सो व्हेन आई परचेज आई विल टेक द आईटीसी। फॉर्म नंबर ITC03 है, फॉर्म पे ज्यादा ध्यान मत देना क्योंकि इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर होना चाहिए। एग्जाम में फॉर्म्स नंबर नहीं पूछे जाते, नॉर्मली नॉर्मली नहीं पूछे जाते, बट फॉर्म्स पे इतना कंसेंट्रेट मत करना, मेन ध्यान रखना कॉन्सेप्ट पे, क्यों मैं रिवर्स कर रहा हूं, कितना रिवर्स कर रहा हूं और कौन सी डेट का रिवर्स कर रहा हूं। नॉर्मली रिवर्सल वुड बी ITC03। तो अभी क्या बात हुआ, मैं एक बार वापस समराइज कर रहा हूं। कंपोजिशन डीलर आईटीसी ले सकता है? नहीं। अगर मेरी आउटपुट सप्लाई एग्जाम है मैं आईटीसी ले सकता हूं? नहीं। तो अब सिचुएशन क्या है, एक पर्टिकुलर डेट के बाद मैंने अपने आप को स्विच किया, लेट्स से टुडे आई हैव स्विच फ्रॉम रेगुलर टू कंपोजिशन। तो जब रेगुलर था तो कोई ना कोई तो आईटीसी मेरे पास में होगा, देयर वुड बी सम आईटीसी, तो ये आईटीसी मुझे पे करना पड़ेगा गवर्नमेंट को, क्यों, क्योंकि अब मैं कंपोजिशन में जा रहा हूं या मेरी सप्लाई अब एग्जाम हो रही है। मुझे कौन सा आईटीसी पे करना पड़ेगा? आईटीसी ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ स्टॉक और आईटीसी ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ द कैपिटल गुड्स। यस यस वेदांत। सर प्रियंका, if any provision of the GST is not being followed, there is a penal provision which you will read in the final. There is a section 83, section 79, property attachment, bank attachment. There are various provision which are there to recover that amount dues. Now in this section, you are telling that we have either reverse in electronic or pay amount equivalent to ITC held in stock. See, reverse the ITC, you will not use the word. Reverse the ITC, you will not use the word. Now for academic purpose, you will never use the word reverse the ITC. What you will use the word? Shall pay the amount. You will never use the word reverse the ITC. You will use the word shall pay the amount equivalent to the ITC available on the stock or capital goods preceding the date of such conversion or such exemptions. Right, Alok, absolutely right. Absolutely right, 5% per quarter. Except 18(1)(a), ITC will be allowed or disallowed just not except 1A, including 18 subsection 1A. In the 18(1)(a) also we are using the word amount preceding the date, immediately preceding the date. We are always using the word 18(1)(a), B, C, D or 18(4). 18.5 is okay. Now, very important. Very important. And there is one important point, one additional important point, which I will discuss when I will explain the rule 44. When I will explain the rule 44, I will discuss one more important things. Because of academic purpose. Because of academic purpose, in the section, they are not saying that reverse, they are saying shall pay the amount. So in the normal language, I can use the word reverse, but when you are talking about any exam, so examination, it should match with the provision given in the law. That is the reason I have requested not to use the word reverse. In the section 18, I am talking about. Is it clear? Pranav, you can ask any counter question, no problem. But whatever we have discussed, it should be crystal clear and conceptually it should be crystal clear. Then only you will be able to handle the any question, even though it has been seen first time or it has not been or something. कई बार आता ना अजब अजब questions आते हैं, so you will be able to handle clearly, no problem at all. Coming to the 18.6, in case supply of capital goods or plant and machinery. Supply of capital goods or plant and machinery. All capital goods, all plant and machinery? No. On such capital goods on which you have taken the ITC. Perfect. So it means if I am selling my capital asset, capital goods, or if I am selling my plant and machinery, I have to see 18.6 also. Correct. The registered person shall pay an amount equal to the ITC. Registered person shall pay the amount equal to the ITC. Equal to. Now I can say point number 1, point number 2, and last you will say whichever is higher. See what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about. I am talking about अगर मैं कैपिटल गुड्स या प्लांट एंड मशीनरी की सप्लाई करता हूं तो मुझे कितना टैक्स देना है. आई एम डिवाइडिंग इन 2 पॉइंट और इन दोनों में से विच एवर इज हायर मुझे देखना है. इन दोनों में से विच एवर इज हायर मुझे देखना है. पहला क्या कहता है कि आईटीसी ऑन कैपिटल गुड्स रिड्यूस्ड बाय सच परसेंटेज पॉइंट एज मे बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड. ठीक है. दूसरा, tax on transaction value of capital goods or plant and machinery determined in the section 15 whichever is higher. जब भी मैं कैपिटल गुड्स की सप्लाई की बात करूंगा या प्लांट एंड मशीनरी की बात करूंगा तो मैं कितना टैक्स पे करूंगा इसका डिटर्मिनेशन 18.6 डिसाइड करेगा. ये कहता है कि आपको 2 वैल्यू का कंपैरिजन करना है. यू हैव टू कंपेयर 2 वैल्यू and whichever is higher you have to pay the taxes. पहला क्या कहता है, जितना भी मैंने आईटीसी लिया था reduce by such percentage point as may be prescribed. दूसरा, tax on transaction value whichever is higher. इसका प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल हम ब्रेक के बाद करेंगे. we'll take the break of 10 मिनट 15 मिनट उसके बाद करेंगे. लेकिन याद रखना हम कौन से कैपिटल गुड्स की बात कर रहे हैं, कौन से प्लांट एंड मशीनरी की बात करें जिसके ऊपर आईटीसी लिया है एंड जिसको मैंने सप्लाई किया तो मुझे कितना पे करना पड़ेगा. आपको 2 अमाउंट करना पड़ेगा, या तो आईटीसी रिड्यूस्ड बाय सच परसेंटेज पॉइंट एंड सेकंड टैक्स ऑन द ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू व्हिचएवर इज हायर. यहां पे प्रोवाइजो क्या कहता है, वेयर द ब्रिक्स मोल्ड डाइज जिग्स फिक्चर्स आर सप्लाइड एज स्क्रैप. तो मैं सिंपली ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू के ऊपर टैक्स पे कर दूंगा. दैट्स इट. ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू का मतलब क्या होता है, लेट्स से कि मैं जिस वैल्यू पर आपको सेल कर रहा हूं, मेरे पास में कैपिटल एसेट है, कैपिटल गुड्स है, मैं आपको 20,000 में सेल कर रहा हूं. आई एम सेलिंग यू 20,000. सो इट मींस दैट 20,000 वुड बी द ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू. राइट. हरी नहीं, कोई क्वेश्चन आपका? सेंटेंस तो आपने जो लैंग्वेज लिखी वो बिल्कुल करेक्ट है. और अब्दुल, Can I write reverse the ITC in 17.2 or I need to write the self pay the amount equal to the ITC available in the ITC? आप कौन सा वर्ड लिखेंगे ना, आप रेस्पेक्टिव लैंग्वेज में जाइए। जब आप रूल 37 पढ़ेंगे ना तो कहीं 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 आपको वर्ड रिवर्स मिलेगा। ठीक है, मैं ये मना नहीं कर रहा, बट यू हैव टू गो टू द रेस्पेक्टिव प्रोविजन। दैट इज द ओनली पॉइंट विच आई लाइक टू quote. Let's say the break. Let's take a break of 10 minutes. We'll resume at 9:25. Sorry, 7:25. Sorry, 10 मिनट का ब्रेक लेंगे, ज्यादा नहीं लेंगे। 10 मिनट we will have the break, and at 7:25 we will resume. We'll read the rules. We'll try to do the practical case study. ठीक है। मीनवाइल अगर आपके कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज पुट इन द चैट। थैंक यू सो मच। अशोक जी। एक बार 18.6 वापस में डिस्कस कर लेता हूं आपके साथ। ठीक है, 18.6 क्या कहता है? लेट मी गो टू द बॉटम इन द एनालिसिस पार्ट। Look, in case of the sale of the business, ITC will be transferred to the new owner. क्योंकि जब मैं पुराना बिजनेस ट्रांसफर करूंगा तो आईटीसी तो पुराने वाले के पास में होगी ना, तो वो आईटीसी ट्रांसफर कर सकता है नए वाले को। ठीक है, अब हम बात करते हैं 18.6। एक बार मैं वापस समझा रहा हूं। अगर कैपिटल गुड्स और प्लांट एंड मशीनरी हमने सप्लाई किया है, कैसा कैपिटल गुड्स, कैसा प्लांट एंड मशीनरी, जिसके ऊपर हमने आईटीसी लिया है, देन ही मस्ट पे द अमाउंट हायर ऑफ द फॉलोइंग टू। टैक्स ऑन ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू, जितनी भी वैल्यू पर मैं सप्लाई करता हूं, और आईटीसी टेकन ऑन द कैपिटल गुड्स रिड्यूस्ड बाय 5% per quarter or part thereof from the date of the invoice for capital goods, that is ITC pertaining to the remaining useful life of the capital goods or tax on transaction value। ठीक है, जितना भी आईटीसी, जितना भी रिमेनिंग लाइफ बचा हुआ है 5% पर क्वार्टर के हिसाब से मैं उसको रिड्यूस करूंगा। जो भी बैलेंस बचा उसके लिए मैं उसको कंपेयर करूंगा टैक्स ऑन ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू, विच एवर इज हायर, उतना टैक्स मैं पे कर दूंगा। Let's see. Same example. I have purchased the capital goods of 10 lakh rupees on which I have taken the ITC of 50,000. Hypothetically, I am using one example. I have taken the ITC of 50,000. Let's say after 2 quarters, I have sold this capital goods. So, at what price I have sold? I have sold only in 2 lakh rupees. What is my transaction value? 2 lakh rupees. What would be the tax on the transaction value? 2 lakh multiplied by 5%, so 10,000. 18.6 say that you have to compare two value. What is the first? ITC taken on such capital goods 50,000 reduced by 5% per quarter. How much period I have used? 2 quarter I have used. So how much part I will reduce? 10%. So it means balance amount would be 45,000. 45,000 or 10,000, whichever is higher. It means transaction value is very simple. The value at which I am doing the transaction, amount paid or payable. Go to the section 15, read the language of the 15 subsection 1. Amount paid or payable by the recipient. आनंद का क्वेश्चन बढ़िया है। आनंद का क्वेश्चन बढ़िया है। विल डिस्कस आनंद, जस्ट 1-2 मिनट रुकिए। पहले आप मुझे बताइए, ये वाला एग्जांपल मैं एक बार वापस रिपीट करता हूं, उसके बाद आप कंफर्म करना। मैं एक कैपिटल असेट जिसकी वैल्यू 10 लाख रुपीस थी, जिसके ऊपर आईटीसी मैंने क्लेम किया था 50,000, उसको मैंने सेल कर दिया 2 लाख रुपए में। कितना टैक्स बनता है? 2 लाख क्या है? ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू। तो 2 लाख का 5% 10,000 मेरा टैक्स बनता है। लेकिन 18.6 क्या कहता है? आपको एक चीज और कंपेयर करके विच एवर इज हायर पे करना है। 50,000 आईटीसी मैंने क्लेम किया, रिड्यूस्ड बाय 5% पर क्वार्टर। इट मींस I've used for 2 quarter, I will reduce 10%. So meaning thereby the balance amount comes to 45,000. तो बोलते है 45 या 10, whichever is higher. So on the sale of 2 lakh, I will pay the GST. I will pay the GST. How much? 45,000. Is it clear? For the sake of the example, kindly confirm. I'll come to the question of Alok or Anand, which is logical question. We'll come to the question, but before that, from the example perspective, is it clear? Give me the confirmation. How the tax on the transaction value in this example, my transaction value at the time of sale, I'm saying I'm selling at 2 lakh rupees. Karthik, you tell that in this example, which is higher, tax on the transaction value or the ITC? Which is higher? ITC. So not necessarily the tax on the transaction value may be higher. Transaction value not of purchase, sale. They are saying when you are making the sale. अरे नहीं, हाँ क्वार्टर तो 4 ही होगा ना साल में, 3 महीने का एक क्वार्टर, तो 4 ही होगा ना क्वार्टर एक साल में. Yes. Yes, ITC has to be paid on the capital goods which are supplied outward. Yes, I have purchased the capital goods and now I am making the sale of that capital goods. So this is at what value I am selling, that is the transaction value. Remaining useful life 4 year, how to take? Where it is 4 year. How come it's 4 year? I'm saying only 2 quarter. It means I have used only for 6 months. I have used only for 6 months. So I have to charge the GST from the person to whom I sold, or I have to pay from my own pocket. See, there can be two concepts. Then you all know the backward method calculation. Suppose my ultimate sale is 2 lakh. Then what is the GST? I have to do the backward calculation. Correct now? So normally it will be added in the sale, or if not, then I have to pay from my own pocket. But I have to pay the GST, that is clear, Geet. Vinayak, ITC balance means see, Pranav, when, so where you have read the ITC capital goods purchased 1 year, we have read in 18.2. 18.2 apply on the 18.1. Here we are not talking about the ITC availment. We are talking about the tax ka payment. It is altogether different from 18.1 and 18.2. So the concept purchase within 1 year, before 1 year will not apply. We are going to calculate output tax. Yes. Output tax minus input tax. Yes. So I have to pay 45,000 for that, you are saying? नफीसा, मुझे क्लियर नहीं हुआ आपका पॉइंट. आईटीसी ऑफ दिस मशीन भी यूज, हाँ उसमें तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. आईटीसी एक बकेट है, कॉमन बकेट है. So whether you purchase the goods, same goods, you purchase the capital goods, you take the services, you can use for outward supply. It is not that कि I purchase machine तो मैं उसको उसके लिए नहीं यूज कर सकता, कोई restriction नहीं है, except 17. See, अगर सप्लायर 45 पे करता है, मोहम्मद तौकीफ, अगर सप्लायर 45 पे करता है तो रिसिपिएंट कितना क्लेम करेगा? जितना उसके 2B में ट्रांजेक्शन अपीयर होगा, जितना अमाउंट उसके 2B में आएगा. If all the condition of 16.2 are satisfied, amount appearing in 2B as 45, he would be able to take ITC of 45. यहां आपके डाउट आएंगे, यहां पे आपके कंफ्यूजन होंगे. अभी तो एक कंफ्यूजन मैं और देने वाला हूं. कौन सा कंफ्यूजन देने वाला हूं? ये कंफ्यूजन जब मैं ये रीड करूंगा ना, ये वाला पार्ट 44.6, तब आपके डाउट और ज्यादा क्रिएट होंगे. और ज्यादा क्रिएट होंगे। तो एक बार मुझे सिर्फ उस डाउट को ऐड करने दीजिए, फिर हम आराम से डिस्कशन करते हैं। प्रॉब्लम क्या है 18.6 में? प्रॉब्लम क्या है 18.6 में? सुनिएगा ध्यान से। ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम टू 18.6। द प्रॉब्लम टू 18.6, there are two rules applicable on the 18.6. The problem to 18.6, there are two rules applicable to the 18.6. Which one? They are saying go to the first rule. फाइव परसेंटेज पर क्वार्टर, वो हमें मालूम है, रूल 40 सब रूल 2। एक बार गौर से, एक बार आप अपने कंफ्यूजन जो भी लिखेंगे, आई गिव द रिप्लाई ऑफ ईच एंड एवरीवन, बट लेट मी एक्सप्लेन टू रूल विच इज एप्लीकेबल ऑन वन प्रोविजन। Amount of the credit in case of the supply of the capital goods or plant and machinery for the purpose of 18.6 shall be calculated by reducing the ITC at the rate of 5 percentage point per quarter or part thereof from the date of the tax invoice. So it is same which we have discussed till now. Now the new things which I am telling to you. Rule 44. Rule 44 sub rule 6. It says amount of the input tax credit for the purpose of 18.6 relating to capital goods shall be determined in the manner as specified in 18.1b. For rule 44 sub rule 1 clause B, and the amount shall be determined separately. What is the sub rule 1 clause B? Let's read rule 44. Amount of the input tax credit for the capital goods held in stock. Input tax credit involved in the remaining useful life in month shall be computed on pro rata basis, taking the useful life as 5 years. The problem is, the second problem is the rule 44 sub rule 1 clause B saying for 18.4 and 18.29.5, the capital goods held in stock, the input tax credit involved for the remaining useful life in month shall be computed on pro rata basis, taking the useful life as 5 years. We'll discuss both the things. वापस एक बार एग्जांपल बता रहा हूं, सेम एग्जांपल मैं यूज कर रहा हूं। मैंने एक प्लांट एंड मशीनरी परचेज किया, लेट्स से ऑन 1 जुलाई 2022। इसकी वैल्यू 10 लाख रुपीस है, जिसके ऊपर जीएसटी मैंने कितना पे किया, 50,000। इसका क्या किया होगा, व्हाट आई हैव डिड, आई हैव टेकन द आईटीसी फॉर 50,000, करेक्ट, मैटर क्लोज। After 2 quarter, it means 6 months. Let's say on 31st December, I have sold this capital goods or plant and machinery on 2 lakh rupees. What is the 2 lakh? It is the transaction value. What is the meaning of transaction value? The value at which I am doing the transaction. The rate is 5%. So I can say normally I have to pay the GST of 10,000. Normally I have to pay the GST of 10,000. But because of section 18 subsection 6, I have to compare two value, and whichever is higher, I have to pay the GST. What is the two value? One is same, tax on transaction value. Second is saying second part is clear, tax on the transaction value. Clear? What is the first? Go back to the first. It says ITC taken on the capital goods 50,000 minus 5% per quarter. I have used for 2 quarters. So how much I have to reduce? 10%. So 50,000 minus 10%, I have to reduce 5,000. So this 5,000 is being understood that the ITC for the period which I have used, so I have to reduce by 5% per quarter. It means I've used for 2 quarters. So therefore, I have to reduce 10%. So what is the amount for the serial number 1? It is 45,000. What is the amount for serial number 2? 10,000. Whichever is higher, I need to pay. It means on this sale of capital goods, how much GST I have to pay? I have to pay 45,000. Let me answer certain question. Come back to the balance question. Coming back to the balance question, let me answer the question which you already let me answer the question which you already asked. Supplier pay 45 minus how much recipient will claim? Will claim 45 if all the condition is satisfying. Amount is disclosed in the tax invoice. Amount is appearing in 2B of the recipient. Everything. But sir, if the capital goods value at 2 lakh has been supplied, then will the ITC available not be bifurcated for 2 lakh and 8 lakh? No, in the capital goods, it will not be bifurcated because of 18.6. 18.6 say you are not required to do the proportionate. No, you have to compare the ITC taken. You have to compare the ITC taken. So try to understand the basic funda about this calculation. So before that, you give me the answer, one answer. Before me, you please give the one answer. If I am purchasing the capital asset 10 lakh rupees on 1st July, on which I have paid the GST of 50,000, will the entire ITC be available immediately, or ITC would be available 5% per quarter? Will the full 50,000 be available entirely, or it would be available in the 5-year, 5% per quarter? Ask me certain, let me ask some question and then I will come back to the same example. ITC आपने अगर 1 जुलाई को असेट परचेज किया है, आपको पूरा का पूरा 50,000 एक साथ मिलेगा या आपको थोड़ा थोड़ा मिलेगा 5% पर क्वार्टर के हिसाब से? In the GST, the life of the capital goods is 5 years. Life of the capital goods is 5 years, fixed for every capital goods. They are not bifurcating the life of each and every capital goods like in the Companies Act, income tax. No, they are fixing the life of the capital goods as 5 years. The answer would be full ITC available immediately, because if you will not take the ITC immediately, 16(4), certain time limit hai na, after the end of the financial year till November, or annual return, whichever is earlier. So you have to take the ITC full immediately. No 5% per quarter. ITC कितना मिलेगा? पूरा एक साथ मिलेगा, क्योंकि नवंबर के बाद तो मैं कुछ भी क्लेम नहीं कर सकता पिछले वाले साल का ITC. You remember we have discussed 16 subsection 4. So meaning thereby ITC कैपिटल गुड्स का भी आपको कैसे दिया? पूरा एक साथ दिया, बट लाइफ कितनी रखी? 5 साल. लाइफ कितनी रखी? 5 साल. तो उसने क्या कहा, अगर तो एक नया सेक्शन ऐड किया 18(6). समझिएगा 18(6) के पीछे लॉजिक. आईटीसी पूरा एक साथ दे रहा है, लेकिन लाइफ कितनी बोल रहे हैं? 5 साल। तो 18.6 बीच में लेके आए। उन्होंने कहा अगर आपने उस असेट को बेच दिया प्रायर टू दैट पीरियड, 5 ईयर के पहले, तो आपको कितना टैक्स देना पड़ेगा, दो वैल्यू कंपेयर करना पड़ेगा। ऐसा नहीं हो आज आपने कैपिटल असेट लिया और कल आपने बेच दिया नॉमिनल अमाउंट में और थोड़ा सा टैक्स आप पे कर दो, मैटर क्लोज। नहीं, अगर उस असेट को आपने 5 साल तक नहीं रखा, यू हैव टू पे द टैक्स विच एवर इज हायर। I'll try to read, sir. I'll try to read. I'll try to explain. I might extend the class. I might extend the class, but I will read 41, 41A, and 44 rules. Every rules I will read. Rest to be sure, because I'm always extending the class. Is it clear? 18.6 को कंट्रोल किस लिए किया? ताकि पूरी लाइफ, सी व्हाट हैपन अदरवाइज, one will purchase the capital goods, let's say 10 lakh, and he will say I have sold the capital goods after 1 month in rupees 2 lakh. Don't you think? Don't you think that he will take ITC of 50,000 and he will pay only 10,000? Don't you think there is a possibility of misuse of the ITC? What is the transaction value? The value at which I am supplying the capital goods or any transaction. There is no control on the transaction value. So they are saying, one will say, the person will say, I have purchased the asset of say let's 10 lakh rupees. I have sold in 2 lakh rupees. How much he will pay if 18.6 was not there? Suppose if 18.6 not there, what will happen? There will be huge ITC taken and there will be only nominal amount of the tax will be paid on capital goods, of which life is 5 years. That is the reason 18.6A, if you are supplying the capital goods, always compare two value, higher of the same to be paid. So this second item is same, tax on the transaction value. But first item say, whatever the ITC you have taken, now you will apply the 5% per quarter. Only 2 quarter you've used? Yes, sir. Let's say I used for 6 months, 2 quarter. Reduce 10%. It means you have used avail entire 50 because of the provision, but you are normally entitled to 10%. So please pay the GST at least 45,000. Please pay the tax of 45,000 on this transaction. Kindly ask the question. Whatever you have the doubt, kindly ask the question. Very, very important provision in this particular today discussion. तो कितना पे करना है? 45 माइनस 10। सर 45 और माइनस 10 का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है। 45 या 10 विच एवर इज हायर, तो आंसर कम्स टू 45। तो इस ट्रांजेक्शन 2 लाख की सेल के ऊपर कितना टैक्स जाएगा? 45,000 जाएगा। इनवॉइस, डज इट मीन्स द परचेज इनवॉइस? आनंद, लॉजिक समझ में आया? आनंद, थोड़ा देर पहले आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि ये कैपिटल गुड्स के ऊपर ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है। आई थिंक यू हैव आस्क्ड वन क्वेश्चन। इट्स You have asked one question, why does ITC on capital goods to be paid back versus revenue goods? तो रेवेन्यू गुड्स में क्या होता है? ये लाइफ का फंडा नहीं है। नॉर्मल गुड्स में लाइफ का फंडा नहीं होता। कोई भी प्रोविजन नॉर्मल गुड्स के लिए लाइफ की बात नहीं करता, ओनली कैपिटल गुड्स में लाइफ की बात है, इसीलिए ये कंपैरिजन ऐड किया है। आनंद, जो आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा था, आई होप इट इज क्लियर। दिस सीम्स टू बी अगेंस्ट नॉर्म्स ऑफ आउटपुट। ये नॉर्म्स कौन सा कह रहे हैं आनंद? आउटपुट टैक्स माइनस इनपुट टैक्स। इसमें तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है भाई। 50 का आईटीसी आपको मिलेगा, आपको 45 पे करना पड़ेगा। यू कैन यूज 50,000। अगर आपके पास 50,000 है, यू कैन यूज दैट आईटीसी, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम। दिस इज नॉट द अगेंस्ट ऑफ आउटपुट टैक्स माइनस इनपुट टैक्स। यहां पे कितना लाइबिलिटी बन रहा है? 45,000। और कितना आईटीसी अवेल किया था? 50। यू कैन यूज दैट 50,000 अगेंस्ट 45,000। यू कैन यूज आउटपुट माइनस इनपुट। भाई सी नॉर्मली वो सेल नहीं करेगा. सी एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट मिस्टर इंगल, Dhyanish Ingal, he will not sell. But let me take a hypothetical example. If he sell, then what? It might be one of the adjustment tool, one of the tax evasion tool for the customer, for the recipient or for the supplier. Registered person might they will use. That is the reason 18.6 was controlling that particular selling at a loss on capital goods. Normally, we will not sell. Obviously, we will not sell. Let's assume second possibility. Let's assume I have purchased one technology which is now being obsolete. Very random changing technology. Now the technology has been obsolete. I have to purchase new technology. So that is the reason I have sold in the loss. Can be any reason. I'm not saying that it is only for the tax evasion. It can be because of any reason. But suppose if it is sold in loss, then what? Then 18.6 will come into the picture. सर कैपिटल गुड्स 3 क्वार्टर यूज होता तो 40,000 टैक्स पे होता. सो 3 क्वार्टर यूज होता तो 5% और यूज कर लो. 50,000 टोटल आईटीसी था, इनटू 3 क्वार्टर का कितना होता 15%, तो इट विल बी 7,500. तो द बैलेंस अमाउंट वुड बी 42,500. विदाउट आईटीसी, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट कन्हैया. अगर विदाउट आईटीसी है तो 18.6 तो पिक्चर में नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि 18.6 तो स्टार्ट इसी बात से होता है ना. 18.6 is saying on which ITC has been claimed. If ITC not claimed and it is being sold free, then because of schedule 1 para 1 it will be out of GST. How transaction value is known? See, if I sold capital asset to any person, so he will make the payment to me. Karthik, suppose I am selling the capital asset to you, or let's say I am selling to the kabadi wala. He is making the payment of 2 lakh. So that is the transaction value. Whenever there is a supply, section 31 say I have to issue tax invoice. Whenever there is a supply, I have to issue tax invoice. Please, will not go into the ambiguity or will not go into the particular point of tax invoice का वैल्यू कितना होगा, उसके ऊपर टैक्स कितना होगा, मैं उस पर नहीं जा रहा. अभी हम सिर्फ आईटीसी तक अपने आप को रेस्ट्रिक्ट करेंगे. विल गो इन द रेस्पेक्टिव चैप्टर, टैक्स इनवॉइस वाले चैप्टर पर अभी क्या बात है, मुझे कितना टैक्स इस ट्रांजेक्शन पर देना है, दैट विल बी 45,000. टेक्नोलॉजी ऑब्सोलीट. एक पार्टिसिपेंट, एक स्टूडेंट ने क्वेश्चन पूछा, सर 10 लाख की चीज को आप 2 लाख में कैसे बेचोगे? वो टेक्नोलॉजी खत्म हो गई मार्केट में. हो सकता है वो रीजन हो मेरे को लॉस में सेल करने का. बिकॉज ऑफ एनी रीजन आई एम सेलिंग द कैपिटल गुड्स इन लॉस. दैट इज द पॉइंट. देन रेट विल डिफर ऑफ हाउ? 2 लाख का 45,000. इस सेंस में आप कह रहे हैं, आंसर इज यस. रेट वुड बी 5% ओनली, बट बिकॉज आई एम पेइंग ज्यादा अमाउंट, आई एम पेइंग हायर अमाउंट, सो अकॉर्डिंगली रेट वुड नॉट डिफर, अमाउंट विल डिफर. I change composition to normal on 15th December. So can I claim ITC on 12th December or I cannot, as 30th November limit is expired? You can. You are talking about 16.4 का time limit. Abdul, you are talking about 16.4 का time limit, correct? 16.4 is applicable on the normal transaction. 18.2 is giving the new ambit, special circumstances. So might be the possibility of 16.4 has been expired, but still you can claim the ITC. 16.4 is applicable in the normal circumstances, 18.2 special circumstances. So even though the time of November has been expired, but still you would be entitled to claim ITC because it will be routed through ITC forms. अब एक बार हम क्वेश्चन को फिनिश करते हैं so that we can discuss another point also, another provision also. Let me close the discussion at this point of time, at this stage for 18.6. Now we are going to the rules. Let me move to the rules. लास्ट में 10 मिनट आपको देना है, ध्यान रखना. लास्ट 10 मिनट आपको देना है. और one request to all the participant. प्लीज कनेक्ट, दिस इज नॉट एनी एडवर्टीजमेंट, बट मैं चाहता हूं आप सभी बच्चे मेरे साथ कनेक्ट रहें थ्रू लिंक्डइन। तो जब भी आप एग्जाम दें और क्लियर करें तो मुझे इंटीमेशन तो हो कि आप लोग पास कर गए, आप इस बैच के स्टूडेंट थे और यू हैव क्लियर्ड द एग्जाम्स। काइंडली टैग इन द लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल। मेरा नाम अरुण छाजेड़ है, आप लिंक्डइन में सर्च कर सकते हैं। मैं चाहता हूं सभी बच्चे मेरे साथ लिंक्डइन पे कनेक्ट रहें, तो प्रोफेशनली हम लाइफ लॉन्ग तक कनेक्ट रह सकते हैं। सिर्फ इस टुडे की आज की क्लास तक या इस बैच तक हमारा कनेक्शन लिमिट नहीं रहेगा। आपके भविष्य में जो भी आपकी ग्रोथ होगी, आई वुड बी एबल टू कम टू माई नॉलेज, सो इट विल बी फील गुड फैक्टर फॉर मी। ठीक है, तो आप बच्चे जितने भी हैं लिंक्डइन में मेरा नाम सर्च कर सकते हैं, आप कनेक्ट जरूर होना। और स्पेशली जब आपका एग्जाम क्लियर हो जाए तो आप जरूर बताना कि सर मेरा एग्जाम क्लियर हो गया, मेरे को आईडीटी में इतने मार्क्स आए, तो मुझे अच्छा लगेगा। ठीक है, आपके आईडीटी के मार्क्स मुझे सबसे ज्यादा मोटिवेट करेंगे, तो आपके आईडीटी में कितने मार्क्स आए ये टैग करके जरूर बताना। अरुण छाजेड़ विल बी द अवेलेबल इन द लिंक्डइन। ठीक है, अब एक बार इस 18.6 के डिस्कशन को हम खत्म करते हैं और बाकी हम एक बार बाकी प्रोविजन पर आते हैं। रूल 40 हम पढ़ चुके हैं सारा। आईटीसी 01 वुड बी द फॉर्म। ठीक है, एंड अब आते हैं रूल 41 पर। ट्रांसफर ऑफ द क्रेडिट इन केस ऑफ द सेल, मर्जर, अमालगमेशन, लीज और ट्रांसफर ऑफ द बिजनेस। तो जो फॉर्म्स यूज होगा, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया ना, एंटिटी ए हैज ट्रांसफर्ड द बिजनेस टू एंटिटी बी। ठीक है, तो द मोड ऑफ द ट्रांसफर वुड बी आईटीसी 02। आईटीसी कैसे ट्रांसफर करना है, तो एक क्वेश्चन आपने पूछा कि आईटीसी कौन ट्रांसफर करेगा, ए विल ट्रांसफर द आईटीसी टू द बी। और कैसे करेगा, दैट विल बी थ्रू आईटीसी 02। A registered person shall, in the event of the sale, merger, demerger, amalgamation in the ownership business, furnish the details of sale, etc. in the ITC 02 electronically on the common portal, along with the request of the transfer of unutilized ITC lying in his credit ledger to the transferee A to B. What example we are using? A has transferred the business to B. Okay. Provided that in case of the demerger, the input tax credit shall be apportioned in the ratio of the value of the asset of the new unit as specified in the demerger scheme. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? See, I have the asset of 1 lakh rupees. See, I have the ITC. I have the asset of 1 lakh rupees. Let's say I have transferred only 40,000 to the new entity. How much I have transferred? 40%. So whatever the ITC is available in my ledger, so I can transfer in the ratio of the asset. So I have transferred only 40%. So I will transfer the ITC of 40%. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं पूरा का पूरा ITC ट्रांसफर कर दूंगा, नो। Explanation, very important. For the purpose of this sub rule, the value of the asset means the value of entire asset, whether you have taken the ITC or not taken the ITC. Means I have the total asset ka value is 1 lakh, out of which I have claimed the ITC on 80,000, but 20,000 I have not claimed the ITC because it is a motor car. Let's say it is motor car, I am not allowed to take ITC, but I have transferred 40,000. So will I calculate 40%? Or will the percentage be calculated only on the portion of asset on which ITC has been claimed? समझ में आ रहा नहीं वाला बात, कि मैं जब रेशियो निकालूंगा, ऊपर जो रेशियो निकाला वो रेशियो सारी असेट लूंगा या असेट में भी बाइफर्केशन करूंगा कि विच असेट आई हैव टेकन द आईटीसी और ऑन विच असेट आई हैव नॉट टेकन द आईटीसी. नो, that will bifurcation will not be required for transferring the ITC in case of new entity transfer of the business. The transferor shall also submit the copy of the certificate issued by the practicing chartered accountant or cost accountant that the sale merger. ठीक है, ये और नॉर्मल ध्यान रखना, जब हमने रूल 40 की बात की ना, वहां पे अगर वैल्यू 2 लाख से ज्यादा होगा, if the amount of the ITC is more than 2 lakh, then I have to take a CA certificate or cost accountant certificate. Sale merger, amalgamation, demerger, ट्रांसफर ऑफ बिजनेस उस केस में क्या है, हमेशा एक सर्टिफिकेट लेना पड़ेगा विद ए स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजन ऑफ द ट्रांसफर ऑफ द लाइबिलिटी। फॉर्म कौन सा यूज होगा, ITC-02। ट्रांसफरर ए फिल करेगा ITC-02 और बी जो ITC जिसको मैं ट्रांसफर कर रहा हूं ही विल एक्सेप्ट दैट ITC-02। तो जो जीएसटी का पोर्टल होता है ना www.gst.gov.in, इसमें ITC-02 will be filled by A and it will be accepted by B. The input and capital goods so transferred shall be duly accounted in his books of accounts. Perfect. Now I'm talking about 41A. 41A का लॉजिक समझिए। Can the demerger means on one leg? Can ITC transfer deceased business to the legal? हाँ possible. एक circular आया था. There was a circular also which has been referred in the notes also. That circular, if I'm not wrong, the number is 92. Circular number 92 was saying that कि yes, अगर suppose Mr. A was doing the business, he has expired. Now his son like to continue that business. Whether it will be transferred as a sale of business? Answer is yes. Can ITC be transferred? Answer is yes. Sorry, 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Circular 96. Sorry, circular was the 96 number. 96 circular has clarified. I hope you have received your answer. Mohammed Tokif, hope you have received your answer. ठीक है. On 1 lakh rupees, yes. ITC-02 is like GSTR 1 and 2B? No. It is some forms. ITC-02 is a forms in which he has declared the value. So these are the forms available on the GST portal. In case of the demerger, see, transferor will file ITC-02, transferee, new entity will file ITC-02, except ITC-02. In case of the demerger, entity was demerged. Entity A has demerged into, let's say, 2 entity B and C. Then entity A will file ITC-02 and entity B or C in their respective ratio will accept ITC-02. Harini, I am able to see your reply. Hi. Why you are saying hi? Any point which you raised and not answered? Okay, then how can I connect with you? Only LinkedIn. So professional, the professional LinkedIn is the professional platform to connect on the social media that I personally is available, and that is only mode on which I am active. Nothing else. Now second point, transfer of the credit to obtain separate registration for multiple places of the business within the state. So when we discuss the registration chapter, section 25, allow me to take more than one registration within one state. See, the GST concept is statewide. Suppose Arun is doing the business in 3 states. I have to take 3 GST number. But suppose in Delhi, I like to take 2 registration for 2 place of business. Can I? Answer is yes, I can. So now let's say in the location A, within the state, in the location A, I was registered. Now I am taking one more registration, location B, and I'm transferring the asset also. I'm transferring the asset also to the new entity, new registration within that same state. How to do the same? Rule 41A was inserted. A registered person, let's read, was obtained separate registration for multiple places of the business in accordance with Rule 11, who intend to transfer either wholly or partly the unutilized ITC lying in credit ledger to any or all of the newly registered place of the business shall furnished within 30 days ITC 02A. So for ITC 02, if I'm transferring to the sale, merger, merger, demerger, ITC 02A, within the estate, I am obtaining two registration or more than one registration. I can transfer to the new entity, which form ITC 02A. Same proviso are there that amount of ITC would be transferred in the ratio of the value of asset. And what is the meaning of value of asset? Same thing, that whether you've taken the ITC or not taken the ITC, everything will be counted in the value of the asset. Same example, in unit A, location A, I have the registration. I have taken new registration within the state at location B, and I have transferred 40% of asset. So therefore, I can transfer the ITC also to the extent of 40% through ITC 02A. Again, that transferee will accept, and once it will be accepted, amount will be credited to the electronic credit ledger. Now read Rule 44. Rule 44 say amount of the ITC relating to the input, whether it is in stock, semi-finished or finished goods, and capital goods, for the purpose of 18.4, for the purpose of 29.5, for the purpose of three things. For the purpose of three things, please remember which three things: 18 subsection 4, 29 subsection 5, and 18 subsection 6. Why I have used the word 18 subsection 6? Going to the clause 6 first and then coming back to the clause 1. Read this line. Amount of the ITC for the purpose of 18.6 shall be determined according to the clause B of subrule 1. What is the clause B of subrule 1? This is the clause B of subrule 1. So effectively, Rule 44 subrule 1 rules and section are same. No, Kavita. See, the section is the law and how to follow that particular provision of the GST. How to, what would be the method? So everything would be prescribed in the rules. So they are saying you have to transfer the ITC in the manner as prescribed. You have to see the rules. 44.1 is saying input held in stock, finished goods or semi-finished goods. The ITC shall be calculated proportionately on the basis of corresponding invoice on which credit has been availed by the taxable person on such input. Perfect. So, $18.4, I need to pay the amount because I have converted from regular to composition, or my outward supply become exempted. I have to pay the tax. So they are saying for input, the ITC shall be calculated proportionately. Nothing is visible on the screen. Can you please confirm that? Are you able to see the page number 6.52 on the screen? Are you able to see the screen? I have shared the study material. It's visible only. Harini, you are not able to see. Please log out and log in again. Mostly, log out and log in again. Then, how much amount I have to pay? It will be calculated based on the tax invoice. For capital goods, it's a very, very important and very, very relevant for 18.4, 25, 29.5 and 18 subsection 6. ब्लर है यार, मेरे हिसाब से तो ठीक है। मैं सिर्फ एक ही बात कहना चाहता हूं, एक ही बात कहना चाहता हूं, ये कैपिटल गुड्स वाला जो बात है ना, ये थोड़ा सा कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट है बिटवीन रूल 40, बिटवीन रूल 40 वर्सेस रूल 44। ये क्या कहता है? फॉर कैपिटल गुड्स हेल्ड इन स्टॉक, आईटीसी इन्वॉल्व इन द रिमेनिंग यूजफुल लाइफ इन मंथ। रूल 40 क्या कहता है? क्वार्टरली कैलकुलेट करता है, और रूल 44 क्या करता है? मंथली कैलकुलेट करता है। शैल बी कंप्यूटेड ऑन प्रो राटा बेसिस, taking the useful life as 5 years, taking the useful life as 5 years। एक एग्जाम्पल, एक एग्जाम्पल लॉ में लिखा गया है, एक एग्जाम्पल यहां पे भी है, लॉ में भी लिखा गया है। एग्जाम्पल नंबर 40, कैपिटल गुड्स हैव बीन used 4 years 6 months and 15 days। 4 year 6 month 15 days। कितना यूजफुल रिमेनिंग लाइफ है? So 4 year gaya, 6 month gaya, 15 days will be considered equal to 1 month. So the balance life is 5 month। ITC taken on the capital goods, let's say C. So they are saying ITC attributable to the remaining useful life, C multiplied by 5 by 60। मैं रिपीट करता हूं, 18.6 के लिए मैं रिपीट करता हूं, एक बार आप वापस वो एग्जाम्पल देखना, आज की वीडियो देखना। 18.6 में रूल 40 कहता है 5% पर क्वार्टर, रिड्यूस बाय 5% पर क्वार्टर। वहीं पे रूल 44 सब रूल 6 के कारण क्या है? रिमेनिंग यूजफुल लाइफ टू बी कैलकुलेटेड ऑन मंथ। एक बार वापस देखना, जो भी डाउट है हम लोग लास्ट क्लास, आईटीसी की लास्ट क्लास में डिस्कस करेंगे, बट इट विल बी क्लियर। प्लीज सी दिस एग्जाम्पल ऑल्सो, वट एवर वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन द टुडे क्लास। ठीक है, अब क्या कहता है? द अमाउंट एज स्पेसिफाइड शैल बी डिटरमाइंड फॉर सी एस यूटी जीएसटी आईजीएसटी सेपरेटली, वेयर द टैक्स इनवॉइस रिलेट टू द इनपुट held in stock are not available। The registered person shall estimate the amount under sub-rule 1 on the prevailing market price on the effective date of occurrence of any event specified in 18.4 or 29.5। अब यहां पे मुझे amount determined under sub-rule 1 shall form part of the output tax liability and the details of the amount shall be furnished in ITC 03, where such amount relate to any event of section 18.4 and in GSTR 10। GSTR 10 क्या है? GSTR 10 एक फाइनल रिटर्न है। GSTR 10 कब फाइल करना होता है? When it has to be furnished, it has to be furnished within 3 months from the date of cancellation order। So my 29 is talk about the cancellation of registration। Section 29 talks about cancellation of registration। So when I'm cancelling my registration or it is being cancelled, then within 3 months from the date of the cancellation of order or date which I have prescribed, date which has been given, whichever is later, I have to file within 3 months the GSTR 10। So within 3 months I have to pay the amount। When I will teach the registration chapter, I will again highlight the same point in 29.5। So I have to pay where I have to pay? In the GSTR 10। Or if it is related to 18.4, I have to furnish ITC 03। The details shall be duly certified by the practicing chartered accountant or cost accountant when invoice are not available and I am taking the market price। I have to take the certificate from the CA। 18.6, the amount of the input tax credit I have already discussed. Let me repeat again. Amount of the input tax credit for the purpose of 18.6 relating to the capital goods shall be determined according to 44.1b and the amount shall be determined separately for ITC of CS, UT, GST or IGST। provided that where the amount so determined is more than the tax determined on the transaction value, the amount determined shall form part of the output tax liability and same shall be furnished in the GSTR1. That is okay. So from my side, today class is completed. Now we'll take first your doubt and after that I'll come to the quick round of the question answer. You may ask any question. Ashok ji, now I will not share any screen. I request you to set the video accordingly. Once you confirm, then I will stop the sharing. ज्योति, रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल होने के बाद जब कैंसिलेशन ऑर्डर आता है, ठीक है, तो उसके 3 महीना के अंदर जीएसटीआर 10 फाइल करना कंपलसरी है रेगुलर टैक्स पेयर के लिए, अदरवाइज लेट फीस एप्लीकेबल होती है 200 रुपीज पर डे की. सी प्रणव, डिस्टिंग्विश तो नहीं करना है, पर मैंने आपको बताया 2 ऐसे रूल है जो 18(6) पर अप्लाई होते हैं. तभी देखो, एक बार वापस उस पेज पर आता हूं, तभी देखो आपको वापस उस पेज पर ले जाता हूं जहां पे ये चीज हाईलाइट की हुई है. एंड प्लीज नोट वन थिंग दैट अगर 18(6) का क्वेश्चन आता है तो 2 रूल अप्लाई होंगे, 40 सब रूल 2 एंड 44(6). लाइन वापस पढ़िए, यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर क्लियरली. इफ द कैपिटल गुड्स और प्लांट एंड मशीनरी on which ITC has been taken and are supplied, he must pay the amount higher of the two. And first के लिए 2 बातें लिखी है. पहला बोला ITC taken shall be reduced by 5% per quarter or part year of, and नीचे क्या लिखा, ITC pertaining to the remaining useful life. Under rule 44(6), ITC involved in the remaining useful life in month of the capital goods is reversed on pro rata basis. The useful life is 5 years. So you have to calculate, and as of now, till the time it is not clear, it will be to be taken as a higher of the two. But I hope now you are able to clearly correlate, compare, or understand that this 18 subsection 6 has 2 rules applicable on that particular provisions. One is saying that 5% is per quarter, and one is saying useful life as a 5 years. Ideally, in totality, it is same. 5% per quarter multiplied by 20 quarter. It will be 100%. Life is 5 years, ultimately 100%. But the problem is number of days, quarter is if different, then the calculation would be different. Yes, Pranav, दोनों तरीके से सॉल्व करना चाहिए because it is written in the study material also. No doubt, no कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. ब्रेक आप अगले सेशन में पूछ लेना. कोई भी डाउट है आप पूछिए. 5 मिनट में आपके लिए वेट करूंगा एंड देन आई विल स्टार्ट द 5 राउंड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आंसर. बहुत फॉलो करो, जो ज्यादा रिवर्सल की बात करता ना वो करो. अभी कहीं ये नहीं लिखा हुआ. सी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, नोवेयर इट इज रिटन आई हैव टू टेक हायर अमाउंट. रूल 42, रूल 40 सब रूल 2 एंड रूल 44 सब रूल 6. नो. So according to my view, whatever it is written in study material, you have to follow the same concept. Reduce by 5% is per quarter, and also in the last you have to calculate 44(6) also. So again, there is no difference. See, both are applicable on 18(6). So both are applicable as of now. Both are applicable on 18(6). So as of now, you cannot say that 40 sub rule 2 would be followed in this circumstances. 44 sub rule 6 would be followed in this circumstances. No. Only in case if the exam question will come, you have to calculate according to 5% per quarter reduced, and at last you have to calculate for the remaining life. For both the rule, you have to calculate. Yes. So is it okay? Any other question? I liked that you are raising the question on 40 sub rule 2 and 44 sub rule 6. See, you have understood the problem with these 2 rules applicable on one section. That is the best thing, that you are understood and asking the question. In the exam, you will calculate according to ITC 5% per quarter 40 sub rule 2, but also you will calculate according to 44 sub rule 6. This is my view. Because if you see the study material, in that also, in the note, it has been given the reference of the 44 sub rule 6. प्रोपोर्शनल कॉन्सेप्ट 44 वन अच्छा 1A का प्रोपोर्शनल कॉन्सेप्ट मतलब कि फॉर एग्जांपल आपके पास 10 टैक्स इनवॉइस थे, ठीक है, यू हैव द 10 टैक्स इनवॉइस, फाइन, एंड ऑन विच देयर इज अ आईटीसी ऑफ लेट्स से 1 lakh rupees. Now you have the stock, let's say not you have the not full stock available, there is some less stock, so you will calculate the ITC proportionately on the basis of the tax invoice. कविता एक बार आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि क्वेश्चन 18.6 पे पूछा है नहीं पूछा, किस तरीके से पूछा है, यू कैन सी दैट पर्टिकुलर एग्जाम पेपर आई वुड से. तो चलो सर, अब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं सर, फायर राउंड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. आज ज्यादा हमने नहीं पढ़ा, सिर्फ 18 सेक्शन 18 पढ़ा. कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछ लू ना, कुछ भी क्वेश्चन. इज इट ओके दैट आई विल आस्क द क्वेश्चन प्रायर टू टुडे चैप्टर, टुडे क्लास आल्सो, फर्स्ट क्लास सेकंड क्लास का भी क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता हूं ना. फाइन. व्हाट इज द लास्ट डेट टू टेक द आईटीसी? व्हाट इज द लास्ट डेट टू टेक द आईटीसी? Please give me the answer. What is the last date to take the ITC? लास्ट क्लास में तो सर मैं बता रहा हूं ज्ञानेश जी, अपने को टाइम ही नहीं मिलेगा सेक्शन 49 के छोड़ के. We have to do the lot of case study, lot of practical point on the last class on the section 49. So won't be able to touch again the 18. What is the last date to take the ITC? What is the last date to take the input tax credit? I am asking random question. Whatever question coming into mind, I am asking the question. What is the last date to take the ITC? We'll spend 10-15 minutes. Kindly allow me to extend the class. We'll spend 10 to 15 minutes on the quick round of the question, whatever we have discussed till now. So whenever you're talking the last date, 30th November, following the end of the financial year. Please use the word 30th November, following the end of the financial year, or furnishing of annual letter, whichever is earlier. Before annual return, you should write the word furnishing. Whether it is due date or furnishing, the answer is furnishing. Because sometime the word due date are written, sometime furnishing are written. So ensure to give the correct date, not only annual return. Sorry. Which one is relevant, GSTR 2A or 2B for taking the ITC? Which one is relevant, GSTR 2A or GSTR 2B? Which one is relevant, GSTR 2A or GSTR 2B? Which one is relevant, GSTR 2A or GSTR 2B for taking the ITC? The answer is GSTR 2B. GSTR 2B. Can you please tell me that now this concept is available or not available? Which concept? That ITC can be taken 5% more whatever available in the GSTR 2A. So whatever ITC available in the auto-populated statement, I can take 5% extra ITC. This concept is available now or not available? This concept is available or not available? The ITC would be 5% extra from the eligible amount appearing in the auto-populated statement. Is it available or not available? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Not available. Not available. Why not available? Because of the GSTR2B. Because of the GSTR. They have removed the concept of GSTR2A. Rule 36 of Rule 4 has been amended. ITC of motor car purchase for transportation of goods. ITC available or up to 13 seater available or not at all available. I have purchased the motor vehicle for transportation of goods. Is it available or I have to see up to 13 seater not available or not at all available of any capacity? I have purchased the motor vehicle for transportation of goods. मैंने कोई vehicle खरीदा, let's say मैंने truck खरीदा जो कि goods के लिए use होता है. Can I take the ITC or it is available only if it is more than 13 seater or not at all available whether it is of any seaters? Full ITC would be available. Thank you so much. Full ITC. अच्छा एक चीज और बताना, अगर मैं if I talk about the ITC on the insurance of motor vehicle, insurance of motor vehicle, when ITC of insurance of motor vehicle would be available? This is a big question. There may be 3-4 circumstances. It is possible that there may be 3-4 circumstances. I request everyone, whatever coming into your mind, please answer. What is my question? That ITC of insurance of motor vehicle, when it is available, this is my question. ज्योति 30 सीटर तो कोई क्वेश्चन ही नहीं था. 13. The right answer for the last question. The right answer for the last question is ITC would be available on transportation of goods vehicle. There is no blockage. Transportation of goods के लिए तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. मैंने क्वेश्चन बहुत डीपली पूछा है. आप जितना आंसर देंगे ना, बाय दैट आंसर आई वुड बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कितना प्रोविजन आपके माइंड में है. द क्वेश्चन विच आई हैव आस्क्ड इज ए न्यू डिफरेंट वे क्वेश्चन, not asked earlier, and the answer of this question will clearly tell how much you have understood that day, the provision which I have explained. मेरा क्वेश्चन क्या है, वापस रिपीट करता हूं. मैं ये कहता हूं ITC of insurance of motor vehicle when it would be available. I am asking the question to you. ऐसा तो मैं कह नहीं सकता कि कभी अवेलेबल नहीं होगा. 100% पूरा ब्लॉक में नहीं है, कभी कभी अवेलेबल हो सकता है. कब कब अवेलेबल हो सकता है ये मैं क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछ रहा हूं. आई एम नॉट सेटिस्फाइड एनी आंसर टिल नाउ. यस, सुपर्ब आंसर. गीत चौहान, वेबिनार ऑनलाइन क्लासेस है, मैं आपको देख तो नहीं सकता, बट आई रियली इंप्रेस्ड विद योर आंसर. रियली इंप्रेस्ड विद योर आंसर. ग्रेट. सभी चीजें इन्होंने कवर की है. 617 सबसेक्शन 5 क्लॉज ए और क्लॉज AA, ये बात इन्होंने लग दी. उनके एक्सेप्शन को इन्होंने लिखा है. तीसरा, अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है तो मिलेगा. और चौथा एंड फोर्थ, दैट इफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी है तो मिलेगा. इंश्योरेंस री इंश्योरेंस का बिजनेस करता है. थैंक यू सो मच. एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग कवर्ड बाय गीत चौहान एंड कार्तिक. पार्टली करेक्ट है, नॉट अवेलेबल नहीं, ये कहना गलत है. Stock in trade, to some extent it is correct. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है बेटा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आनंद, बाय शेयरिंग योर ट्रूथ। अच्छा एक चीज बताना, आप लोग किसी और के आंसर को देख सकते हो क्या? आर यू एबल टू सी द अदर रिप्लाई और नॉट? आर यू एबल टू सी द अदर रिप्लाई in the particular chat function given by the institute? Can you please confirm that? Would you be able to see the other answer? कन्हैया आपका आंसर भी काफी सेटिस्फैक्ट्री है। ज्ञानेश आपका आंसर भी काफी सेटिस्फैक्ट्री है, इट्स रियली गुड। व्हेन अवेलेबल फॉर द बिजनेस पर्पस, नहीं। ओ, कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है। सो मैं आपसे जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था 17 सबसेक्शन 5 क्लॉज ए बी का क्वेश्चन था, वहां पे हमने बात की थी कि अगर क्लॉज ए और क्लॉज डबल ए का कोई मोटर व्हीकल है, एक्सेप्शन में कवर तब मिलेगा, मेरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है तो मिलेगा, अगर मेरा फर्दर इंश्योरेंस है तो मिलेगा, इंश्योरेंस का बिजनेस है तो मुझे मिल जाएगा। एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट। नॉन रेसिडेंट टैक्सेबल पर्सन को कौन सा आईटीसी अवेलेबल है? नॉन रेसिडेंट टैक्सेबल पर्सन को कौन सा आईटीसी अवेलेबल है? Which ITC is available for the non-resident taxable person? I'm talking about section 17(5) only. Nice, very nice. Almost all are correct. Almost all are correct. Very great. ITC on import of the goods available, rest are blocked. Next question. सेक्शन 18 सबसेक्शन 1 में हमने आईटीसी लेने की बात की 4 सर्कमस्टांसेस में, इनमें से 2 सर्कमस्टांसेस ऐसे हैं, देयर आर 2 सर्कमस्टांसेस इन विच आईटीसी ऑफ द कैपिटल गुड्स इज आल्सो अवेलेबल। Repeating the question, that in the 18 subsection 1 we have talked about 4 circumstances, out of which there are 2 circumstances in which ITC on the capital goods is also available. Can you please tell me that which are the 2 transaction or 2 situation in which ITC on the input as well as capital goods is available? क्लियर है? मतलब मैं 18(1) की बात कर रहा हूँ, आईटीसी इन केस ऑफ स्पेशल सर्कमस्टांसेस। इसमें मैंने आपसे पूछा कि 2 सरकम 4 टोटल थे हमारे, उसमें से 2 में क्या है, आईटीसी सिर्फ इनपुट का मिलता है, और 2 ऐसे थे जिसमें इनपुट और कैपिटल गुड्स का मिलता है। वो 2 कौन से थे? सिर्फ क्लॉज नहीं लिखना, क्लॉज सी और क्लॉज डी सेटिस्फाइड नहीं है, मुझे वो सिचुएशन डिक्टेट करके बताइए, शॉर्ट में बताइए पर लिखिए, डिक्टेट करिए कि वो कौन सी सिचुएशन थी। प्रियंका, प्रणव, अब्दुल, पार्थ, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, ग्रेट। नहीं नहीं, हरिणी मैं अभी डीमर्जर तक आया ही नहीं, मैं 18(1) की बात कर रहा हूं, ठीक है, चलेगा। So the right answer is if composition to regular or exempt supply become taxable supply, in that case I can take the ITC of capital goods as well. Mandatory registration नहीं है। How many days I have to apply for mandatory registration? Within how many days I have to apply? Within how many days I have to apply the registration in case I am liable to take registration? In case I am mandatory liable to take registration, then within how many days I have to apply for registration? within how many days I have to apply for registration? कितना दिन? Absolutely correct. All are correct. The right answer is 30 days. The right answer is 30 days. क्या मुझे कोई बता सकता है? We have discussed 1 year का concept somewhere. We have discussed 1 year का concept somewhere. I am not remember where we have discussed. Please help me where we have discussed the concept of 1 year. Please tell me where we have discussed the concept of 1 year, not the section number. I need the dictation. I need the some brief about where the concept of 1 year would be applicable. Dhyanesh ji, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. Mr. Dhyanesh, it's not work. Section number is not work. You have to tell me. You have to tell me the provisions. Audio, videos, everything is okay now. I think. Harini, again, the problem would be at your end. Probably the problem would be at your end, because if the problem would persist to all, so I might have seen the chat. So, एक साल का जो कॉन्सेप्ट था वो कब एप्लीकेबल है? एक साल का कॉन्सेप्ट कब एप्लीकेबल है, या कहां हमने पढ़ा था कि एप्लीकेबल है? कौन से सिचुएशन में हमने पढ़ा था? थोड़ा सा बताइए मुझे. द राइट आंसर इज 18 सबसेक्शन 2. मैं सेक्शन का नंबर बिल्कुल ठीक है, मुझे थोड़ा डिटेल में बताइए वो एक साल से संदर्भ में क्या बात की थी हमने. Correct. Almost all are correct. So 1 year time we have discussed in 18.2 that whatever the ITC we have discussed in 18.1, the ITC of input capital goods should not be more than 1 year. So the tax invoice should be 1 year. मतलब ज्यादा से ज्यादा कितना, एक साल पुराना हो सकता है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. अच्छा, बफरिंग होती है बीच में. बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. Very nice, very nice. Can I take the, listen my question carefully. Can I take the ITC of GST on capital goods if the tax part is not capitalized? I have purchased the asset, let's say 10 lakh rupees, paid the GST of 50,000. I have capitalized only 10 lakh. Can I take the ITC of 50,000 of the GST paid on that capital goods? मैंने 10 लाख का सेट परचेज किया, उसके ऊपर 50,000 का जीएसटी था. आई हैव टेकन कैपिटलाइज ओनली 10 लाख रुपीज. आई हैव नॉट कैपिटलाइज 50,000. माय क्वेश्चन, विल द आईटीसी बी अवेलेबल of 50,000 or not? Sorry, I'm extremely sorry. Answer is yes, ITC would be available. ITC would be available if not capitalized, the GST part. If not capitalized, ITC would be available. Last question for the day. Last question for the day. If I am supplying the capital goods, let me talk about the section 18.6 I'm talking about. If I am supplying the capital goods, I have to take higher of the two value. Can you please tell me, like serial number 1, serial number 2? If whenever I'm supplying the capital goods or plant and machinery on which ITC has been taken, I have to compare two value, and whichever is higher, I have to pay the GST. Kindly tell me what is the two value? The two value we have discussed, whichever is higher, we have to pay the GST. Please give me the, in brief, what is the value number 1? What is the value number 2? This is the last question. 18 subsection 6, whenever I'm supplying the capital goods or plant and machinery on which ITC has been taken, I have to pay the amount whichever is higher of the following two. So you have to tell me serial number 1, which value, serial number 2, which value. Great. Very nice. Very nice. So I have seen 4-5 replies. It's very nice. Wow. Almost all are correct. So whatever ITC I have taken reduced by percentage point as may be prescribed, that is 5%. You have to also calculate the remaining life according to month. What is the value of the ITC comes? Two calculation you have to perform for the first line item, second tax on transaction value, whichever is higher, whichever is higher. Thank you very much. I hope, please confirm, last confirmation. I hope this live discussion, last 10-15 minute quick round of the question and answer is fruitful and useful to all of you. Please confirm the last discussion of 15 minutes is really helpful to you. We should continue this or not. Kindly confirm. सब लोग बोलेंगे yes confirm. With second thought ही नहीं होगा sir, correct ना? There would be no second thought, is it? Just asking. Revised insurance concept again today. कार वाला मोटर कार वाले की बात कर रहे हो, मोटर कार में आईटीसी का एक बार आप रीड करना ना 16 to A, AA and AB. Kindly, sorry, section 17, subsection 5, clause AB. Kindly read section 17, subsection 5, clause AB, and then we can discuss in the next class, late evening, after completion of the class. Okay, Abdul? Thank you very much. Good night to all of you. And Ashokji, I request you to conclude the session, wind up the 2D session.